In today's video, I'm going to be creating this makeup look. I wanted to go full Valentine's Day with a red and pink color combination. So I'm going to be showing you how I did this whole look, the eyes, cheeks, and lips, and talking through my thought process behind everything that I'm using, as well as my method for applying this makeup. Before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would love for you to consider doing so. If you like this video and you like my content, I like to focus on high-end, luxury, and indie makeup, and a combination of reviewing new products, but also dipping into my collection and playing with makeup that I already have. So if that sounds good to you, I would love for you to consider subscribing. And now let's get into how I did this Valentine's Day makeup look. So I have my base on, I have some foundation, concealer, contour, and bronzer. So that's where I'm starting out, and I wanted to get going with the eyes. My main focus for the eyes is to do a red and pink eyeshadow look, and I really wanted to do that, especially so I could feature these two colors of my Oden's Eye single eyeshadows. But I want to create a nice base to work on top of with those. So I'm going to start out with my Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner in black and do a little bit of a base there, treating this more as a cream shadow just to build a little bit of depth and richness behind this eye look. So now that I've got that base on, I want to go in with some mattes that are close in color to the single shimmers that I want to use. So I'm going to go into the Oden's Eye Merry Christmas palette for my red matte. I'm going to be going with this color right here, which is called Poinsettia. And then for the pink, I think I'm probably going to go into the Hella palette from Oden's Eye and use the Hella shade right here. But I'm gonna start off with the red from the Merry Christmas palette. I'm gonna do that on basically the outer half or maybe outer 2/3-ish of the lid, and kind of the same on the lower lash line, and then fill in the rest of the space with the matte pink. When I'm doing this kind of two-toned look, I often try to make the outer color, which is usually the darker color, almost kind of angle it a little bit so it's not just a straight down line, but more of a diagonal, which I think just makes a more flattering and kind of organic shape on the eyelid usually. And with these mattes, I'm not wanting to put a thick layer on. I want really a pretty thin layer. The purpose is to just kind of enhance the color of the shimmer that's going to be the main star, and also to get a little bit of diffusion around the edges, just to have that nice kind of blended look. But I don't want it too thick because the shimmery shadows are going to stick better to a base that's not very, very dry and very thick. And if I were to layer up too much of the mattes, it would become thicker and drier and not as adhesive for the shimmer shadows. So there it is with just the mattes. You could certainly leave it there if you prefer a matte look. You could even just top up the center of the lid with a pink shimmer, something like perhaps this color here, or even a more translucent topper would look quite nice. I would say just make sure that you're really nicely blended all around the edges. I'm not too worried about that because I know I'm covering everything up with shimmer here. So my two Odin's Eye shadows for today are the shade Mia, which is the pink here, and then of course the beautiful red shade, which is called Leon. So I'm just going to go through the same process, covering the same areas, but this time with the shimmer versions of those colors instead of the mattes. Now that I have those shimmer shades on, I mean, you could see everything that I was doing, but just to kind of explain my process and the reasoning behind it. As with most shimmers, I find that for these Odin's Eye ones, it was best to pat on the majority of the pigment with the finger, and then use brushes to just blend out the edges and add in pigment anywhere that it's not easy for your finger to get. And I also found that once I went in with the pink on the inner part of the lid, it was really nice to use a kind of fluffy brush. So I used this one. This is the Refer number 14 to help that to make the transition between the two colors so that there wasn't like a stark kind of harsh line between the two, so that I was able to kind of lightly brush a little bit of that pink shimmer over top of the red and hopefully get a nicer blend that way. So that's the bulk of the eye look. I just want to finish it up with some liner and mascara, and then I'll come back and we'll finish off the rest of the face. Now that the eyes are finished, I'm ready to move on to highlighter, blush, and lips. And while I'm doing that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how you could modify this eye look depending on your preferences. But I'm gonna be using, I think, two highlighters. The first is this Dior highlighter. It's the Dior Forever in Pink Glow. I'm gonna be using a relatively fluffy brush with that number 19 from Refer, just to get that kind of over basically the top half of my cheeks and then kind of blend it up a little bit. Then I'm probably gonna go in with my blushes. I'm gonna be using two Merit blushes, I think, Beverly Hills and Stockholm. So one is more of a peachy pink and one is more of a kind of cool toned baby pink. I'm gonna be combining those. Then I might go on top of the cheekbones with this Fenty Diamond Bomb highlighter, depending how everything's looking, but starting with the Dior. So for the eye, if you wanted to modify it a little bit, obviously this is very dramatic. There are a number of ways I think you could alter it if you wanted to still keep with this kind of color combination and the feel of this eye look. So one would be to just not use mattes at all. I think the addition of the mattes really does kind of deepen and intensify this look. And I wanted kind of the most extreme, at least my most extreme version of the look for this video. But you could certainly have it a little bit less dramatic with just using the shimmers. In that case, you could also leave out the base, like I used the Victoria Beckham black liner as a base. So you could leave that out entirely and just go with the shimmers. And with that, you could create a much more kind of sheer, shimmery type of effect on the lids while still getting those colors in there. You might find that it works better though with a base, but you could use a lighter, kind of more neutral toned base. So maybe kind of like a taupe cream shadow, or even just a lighter, softer brown liner blended out in the same way that I did the black, just to create that little bit of grounding, which I think can be really helpful with reds and pinks on the eyes, to have a little bit of a neutral grounding color there. So to create that, but without adding too much depth and drama like the black added. And you can carry that through with when you're finishing up the look with liner. I again went in with the black, which is the most dramatic option, but again, you could use even like a rose gold type liner like the Pixie Rose Glow liner, or just again a brown or a gray, whatever suits your preferences. Now I'm ready to go in with the blushes. So I think I'm going to start out with Beverly Hills, which is a little bit more of a neutral option, and using my Sonia G mini base for that. And I'll just kind of place that, focusing more on the upper part of the cheek. And now into Stockholm, and I'll focus that more on the apples of the cheeks. So that's what the cheeks are looking like, and I am going to go into my Fenty. I'm going to use the same big fluffy number 19 brush that I used with the Dior. Pick some of that up and just kind of sweep it over the cheekbones. Again, I'm going for kind of my most glam version of this look. This is in no way a really natural look. When I'm doing Valentine's Day makeup, I usually think of Valentine's Day as more of a day for self-love. For the most part, that's how I like to spend my Valentine's days. And so this makeup look is, rather than being for any special occasion or a special person, it's just for me. And so I get to do the kind of look that I want to do and that I feel like will make me happiest on that day. I'm gonna try the Palazzo lipstick from Lisa Eldridge. This is one of her luxuriously lucent shades. And with a little bit of the lipstick that's on my finger from blotting it out, just top off the cheeks. And this is the completed look. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun creating this look and going a little bit more dramatic than I usually do, but really enjoyed playing with this beautiful color combination of red and pink. It's one of my favorite color combos, and it was really fun to be able to use those new Odin's Eye shadows in this look too. So I hope you like it. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. I hope you have a beautiful Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.